The MedBricks webcast is focused on bringing distinguished Indians and others from diverse fields of science, medicine, technology, and philosophy to learn from each other and to create a new understandings and foster new ideas related to healthcare. Go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. And my name is Jennifer Niemeyer. And you can check us out on our website as www.dailywordformedicine.com. And it is my pleasure to introduce Ramana Anamarju, and he is the author of our ebook called Science is Not a Subject, Science Must Be a Lifestyle. It's a short 3-minute reads that connects science and history. And Ramana has a master's physics. He's also studied nuclear engineering and computer science. He has had many years of experience in the healthcare field, and it is my honor to introduce him to you so he can talk to you tonight about one of the articles about Dr. Yellapragada Subbarao. And it's exciting to hear him talk, and I'm excited to hear more about Dr. Subbarao. So, Ramana.
Thank you, Jennifer. Good morning, India. Good afternoon, England. And good evening, California, and bedtime in West Coast. Thank you all for joining. Today is especially personal to me. It is about something about a distinguished physician in the United States, and and the and the and my late father. So I'm going to show you a little bit on those two people today, and mostly the Dr. Yellapragada Subbarao that we are focusing on. So um, that I we are yeah. Um, so the Dr. Yellapragada Subbarao is I'm going to bring it. Uh, Jennifer, can we do the side? Let me. Yeah, Dr. You have to click. Yeah. Yes. Good. Perfect. We are still learning in all these new technologies. We are getting used for this kind of a show. But thanks for joining. Technology is good and bad same time. Um, so Dr. Subbarao is a very interesting story about him. And a lot of people don't know. Even the people from my hometown don't know about him. That's why I want to bring him to the front lines of history and then up to the knowledge. That's what. So Dr. Subbarao, to explain me about Dr. Subbarao accomplishments, I need to talk about because I need to talk about my village and then how the healthcare system works in my village and the other. So they came. We are all Dr. Yellapragada Subbarao and my village. We're all in the same area, just 3 miles away from each other. So by explaining my background in my village, it will explain to you the background of Dr. Yellapragada Subbarao because we don't have too much history of his background. So we have a very little knowledge about the background of him. So we can get some history from my background, my personal background, and my father's background. It gives you some kind of a background scenario. So I'm from a small village because Dr. Yellapragada Subbarao is just 3 miles away from this town, from this my village. So he was born in the 3 miles from my village. It's practically same town. So my village is his name is Apalakoderu. Is a small in southern coastal village, remote village. We are 10 miles away from the Bay of Bengal. It is not that far from the Bay of Bengal. Uh, it is we are a lot of lot of paddy fields, a lot of palm trees, and you have a very picturesque place, very beautiful place, and a lot of canals. And we have a not that far from our place there is a river also. So it is a very, very agriculture oriented based village ours. So when I was, this is talking about 1960s. I remember that my background. Dr. Ellapata Subbarao came in 1920, 1898. He was born in. So think about that, you know. So I, long after him, I came, you know. So I'm going to explain to you the village that I'm in. It did not change a whole lot even now, you know. But anyway, so there is no electricity. We never see. We didn't have electricity in my village. Okay, no running water. Everybody has to go to the wells and pick up the water from the wells. Uh, and no healthcare in any Western sense. There's a absolutely non-existing healthcare. Healthcare is a non-existent. There is a one or two people that do village kind of medicine. I'll tell you about my father's background on that one. So the villages I grew up in, that actually is not that. That is a house that I almost spent a lot of time. Is like a block away from my hometown. That picture of the house you're seeing is real. That is one of our village heads house. We used to go there and spend. I used to spend a lot of time there. Um, so the village of Palakuderu is a is a small rural village, very, very remote. So we are not even close to any big cities. The healthcare, and I'm going to explain to you how the healthcare in a rural villages work. The rural villages, basically, the doctors like compounders, they call compounders because they used to make compounding and they mix those things together. They're compounding. Mix the medicines together and administer the medicines. So they used to go on a bicycle. Similar to same bicycle you see there. There is a doctor's bag in the background, back seat in the back. They tie it up and then they travel and go to the different homes. Some of them are huts, some of them are decent houses, but not anything grandeur you're thinking about any far away from that sense. So that is the they used to carry in that bag injections, some antibiotics, some pain pills like aspirin, and not anything exotic. Very simple medicines. They used to carry Johnson and Johnson. Is a popular at the time. They came with they used to band-aids and all those things. They were carrying those things in that one. So what kind of diseases they have? Um, it is mostly is a tropical place, right? So it's a tropical country, India, but particularly we are in the tropical area, not too far from the ocean. Uh, there's a typhoid, is a bacterial, and cholera, and there's a waterborne diseases. Malaria is a mosquito-borne. These are very prevalent. Eosinophilia is another tropical disease that attacks the white cells. So these are the diseases very prevalent. They, we just hear today that Naomi Judd, the country music singer, committed suicide, mental health. So there are some, very rare, but there are people who used to commit suicide. They used to drink that pesticide that you see in the middle. That is the pesticide they used to drink, and then they used to die. They try to commit suicide. Most of the people die because there's not a much of a treatment. I mean, there's not available. You could not get anybody there close to that place. So this is as you know, it is a very very remote area, so very few things available. If we get one of those things, you have to be lucky to survive. you know so those are all there is not a much of a what is surprising to me is that there are not much chronic diseases I've seen. Maybe we have not diagnosed it, but I have not seen a chronic diseases as prevalent like before. um, could be several reasons. We don't know at the time. Everybody is working in the fields. they're working hard. So it may be we are all exposing the sun quite a bit, and immunity is much more stronger. So maybe that is one of the causes. But there are not too many chronic diseases. I never seen even the suicides are very extremely rare. One of the things I want to tell you, that in my village, when I was growing up, you don't see that many deaths. This is something telling about Western medicine. Maybe we are scaring people away. This, I don't know what's scaring away, or could be real reasons are. But with all those dreadful conditions, still people are not any dying, left and right. That is surprising to me. That is, we have to do some research on it. What is the reason, exact reasons are. But anyway, so they used to carry a lot of women. They deliver babies at home. Midwives come. Midwives, is not anything special. She's experienced a little bit better than other people. She's a mother of the town, who is experienced in delivering babies. So she is a institute. She is considered as a midwife, and she helps people. That's all. Is nothing like a midwife is a job. There is nothing the government is not providing at the time. Nothing there is no organized care at all. So it's a non-existent care. During this time, my father, the so healthcare is delivered in a sorry healthcare is delivered in a true point of care, is a POC, point of care. All of them, diagnosis, treatment, and prognosis, all of them are delivered at the play at the patient's place. You see the rural villages, they see the delivery of the care is done at the hut or at the village home, or the patient's home. So they're all delivered at the same time. you know so it's not anything fancy. All of them are is a kind of a point of care. It is delivered all at the same time. So mm, how do they get paid, the village doctors? It may be interest to you. So, like I heard in America, also in Western countries, they used to give a chicken and eggs, drop it off. Similar structure, but India eats a lot of vegetables. Maybe that's one reason you don't have a lot of chronic diseases. So we are a very vegetarian country. Basically, yeah, the meat is a very luxury, or meat is not prone to, some of the caste, people that cannot, I'm a Brahmin, so we don't eat meat. So there's a lot of caste, they're not supposed to eat. So it's a big thing. Vegetarian is a very common practice in India. Quite a bit of practice. Plant-based food mostly. And then that is what they used to give us, milk and vegetables. They used to drop it off for my father as a doctor. I will explain to you about my father a little bit. But then they do once or twice a year. They do a puja. Puja is a Hindu celebration. They do, like, all of the people. They invite all the patients. Invite for the puja. The puja is a Hindu celebration. A goddess, different goddesses, you know, different gods and goddesses mostly. They pray, and then these patients come, and they give they give some money, maybe sometimes they gold, silver. Very rare occasion they also give a gold and silver, but they mostly cash or some vegetables, some more rice and all the vegetarian kind of things. So that is a concealed kind of medicine they have, very concealed. Uh, so So my father is a teacher, doctor extraordinaire. That's my mother is a homemaker. My father is a teacher, English teacher. He is the only one who speaks English there. So we don't have a non-existent healthcare. So my father is poor. He wanted to be. He became a doctor for that town. How he became? He studied. He was a vivacious reader. I mean, he used to import. He used to get subscribed to a lot of books. He used to buy a lot of books, medical books. So, and then my grandfather used to live not far from there. He used to practice a medicine there in 5 miles from there. We used to go to every weekend. I used to tag along with my father to go see my grandfather, and he used to my grandfather's cousin actually. So he used to practice there, not too far from my village. So my father used to take me in the bike, We used to go there, and my father used to learn how to administer, injections and other things, because there's nothing there. He is a savior for my village. So he was he was a voracious reader. I mean that he was never stopped reading it. My mother used to get mad at, you're not making money, you're providing care for free. So she used to constantly complain about my father. But she was a great woman, and my mother is a truly a remarkable woman, and she came with a relatively wealthy family compared to my father, and she bought a lot of gold and silver, and she we sold all of it, sent all my brothers and sisters for further education. That was the my mother is such a sacrifice and believed in my father's the life of education. So Dr. Yellaprakata Subbarao came from that town. He's like 2 miles from me. He came from a similar. Is we are from the same sect of people. We are. He's from a Bhimavaram, his town called Bhimavaram. I'm going to tell you a remarkable story of Dr. Subbarao. Is a similar? My father came after Dr. Subbarao. Think about that. So is a way after Dr. Subbarao. Um, Dr. Yellaprakata Subbarao, his name. He is from a small town called a small town. It is a my village is a very rural. It is a 3 miles from my village is a small town. We used to go to market or anything. We have to go to this town three miles from my hometown, my home village. This we call Somarama. It is a different name on it. It is Somarama is a Lord Shiva's five homes, one of the five homes of the Lord Shiva. That's why it's a sacred town, and there are a lot of temples there. And then his name of the town is Bhimavaram, and actually another name is Somarama. That's why we came Bhimavaram came in. So he's a Dr. Yellaprakata Subbarao was he was born in 1898. He was born in 1898, and then he grew up there as he doesn't want to go to school. Then uh, he doesn't want to go to school. He doesn't want to go to school, but he got married at the age of 16, and then his father-in-law forced him to go to a big city, Madras, Chennai. Now they call Chennai Medical College there. He forced him. He wants to be a banana trader. He wants to sell bananas in a large quantities. Banana trader. So some his two brothers died with the tropical diseases, even though very rare in sense death. But his two brothers died with a short period of time. So that triggered him to go to. He was kind of interested in medicine. So he went to school in Chennai medical school there. He was admitted there surprisingly with a three. He failed three times high school. Uh, um, he was he admitted three times into the school. So that was a big thing. So the what is the next thing is then he applied for then he went to Ayurveda school. That's what he helped him a little bit. He was teaching in Ayurveda school in Chennai, same town. So then 1923 he applied for Harvard Medical School. Think about that, from a small village like mine, and applied to all the way to the Harvard Medical School. 1923. Think about that. I just imagine the things are there at the time. So he was not admitted in the beginning. Harvard Medical School, they said that you don't have anatomy and physiology background, but he has. He has. They think because he's teaching Ayurveda, Ayurveda is not a science. We don't recognize it. Western medicine said that we don't recognize Ayurveda, so you need to get medical school. You need to get a physiology and anatomy classes to be done. He said that, yeah, I went through school, I did a training, and he resubmitted his application. They admitted him in the Harvard Medical School in 1923. Think about that. He came to medical school. Then I tell you, um, he is he was flourished in Harvard Medical School. He finished his diploma in tropical medicine, and he got a PhD in biochemistry in Harvard. Both of them. It's both of them Harvard. Probably is one of the first few Indians. Maybe I don't know anybody before that came to Harvard. He is definitely one of the first few Indians who came to Harvard. Um, he deserves to. His inventions even amaze even seasoned scientists. He deserves 4 Nobel Prizes. He has not got one. He has not even nominated for the Nobel Prize. I tell you what he invented. It's just mind-boggling inventions he did. If anyone does that even now, you would have been you would have been 4 Nobel Prizes without a question. He is that famous in the contributions of medicine with him. So he he was in while he was in Harvard. One of the first invention he did is a phosphate. Phosphate strip color test. He invented the color strip test in 1920. 1920. He came in 1928 or 1930, probably around that time. Phosphate is phosphorus is a second mineral after calcium, most important mineral in the body. It is you need for the bones, teeth, and you need an energy resource. It is a the people who have diabetes or people who drink a lot of alcohol, the phosphorus goes down. Among them, that's one of the common indicator is that for those conditions, the usually phosphorus levels go down. So he invented a test during that time. He invented a color test, a simple test to check the phosphorus. Actually, bananas are, ironically, bananas are rich in phosphorus. But he invented phosphorus color strip test in the first test he did. So he became famous to that. He's a supervisor. Dr. Fisk is a supervisor. It came in the Wikipedia and is well established truth that is he was discriminated. All his inventions were just kept under. He destroyed some of his inventions. Some of his colleagues told them some of his supervisor got jealous and then destroyed all his inventions. So, but anyway, he reinvented it, and then the first test is he became a very popular with this phosphorus strip color test. That is an invention number one. How important it is that during that time. Think about that. You know, the second one is there's a much more powerful than this Hetrazine tablets. Hetrazine is particularly tropical diseases, the snowflake lung, river blindness. Those are all at that time. Those are two diseases, or a lot of malaria and all those things. The tropical diseases, Hetrazine tablets are savior for the world. That's why even World Health Organization, even today, it put as a most essential drug. The most essential drug is today is the phosphorus. So the 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 phosphorus is the most important drug in the uh, sorry, Hetrazine tablets. Now what they're finding out is that they could use the phosphorus because is a yeah, I hope I say anthelmintics. Sorry, I'm not a doctor. So anthelmintics. So hetrazine is an parasitic drug, antiparasitic drug. So it is a savior for a lot of infectious diseases in third world countries, India, Pakistan, and Indonesia, Vietnam, all those countries saved by hetrazine tablets worldwide. So, and it has the properties of anthelmintics properties. That property now they're testing. It could be good treatment for coronavirus, Zika virus, even influenza virus could be possible. They're testing right now. It gave a very positive results for the treatment through hetrazine tablets. So actually, I had a eosinophilic lung when I was a kid. I took atrazine tablets, saved my life. So, the biggest invention of all, the mother of all his inventions, is methotrexate, the first chemotherapy drug. Uh, the drug is methotrexate is basically analog of the folic acid. It is the same as a folic acid. So what it is was um, is a child. 1946. There is a child leukemia is very prevalent because you cannot is a blood disease, blood cancer. So you cannot treat by by surgical removal. You cannot do that because, or you can do radiation because there's the blood is diffused across the body. So you cannot do both those. You need a targeted drug. There's no targeted drug at the time. So he came up with a methotrexate. Sidney Farber is a pathologist from Boston. He was kind of a character. He used to fight with everybody. So he's the only guy he liked is Dr. Soparov. Dr. Soparov gets along with everyone, and he gave his invention to him. And he went there and used it on children and saved a lot, countless of lives. That is really big changer. Methotrexate is so powerful now. Even the use for other cancers, head and neck cancer, they use for ectopic pregnancies, they use for the even knee inflammation. Methotrexate is a very powerful injection for knee inflammation. It has so many wide variety of uses even present. That is the power of the methotrexate. So the first chemotherapy is a drug. He became famous. He became very famous. But with all his inventions, can you believe this? Harvard did not. He was teaching. He was started teaching in Harvard, but they did not give him a tenure because he did not get tenure. He was a foreigner. They discriminated him completely. That is no. That was a is a given. It is not some in the Wikipedia mentioning that part. So, so you move to then you move to um, you move to the uh, you move to the you move to the lab called after this he became very famous, well known. He was a very established his name. So that is at that time a small lab, literally labs, sorry, literally labs now is owned by Pfizer actually. Literally labs hired him as a director of research in 1947 or 45 somewhere that time. They hired him as a research director. So at the time there was a big rush to find a first broad spectrum antibiotics. It is a big thing to find a is a big there is a lot of rush going on to find the broad spectrum antibiotic at the time. So he hired Dr. Subarov hired a guy. He's a 70-year-old at the time, Dr. Benjamin Dugard. He's from Alabama. He's a plantation owner's son. He hired him. Think about he's a dark-looking foreigner hiring Benjamin Dugard. He was very open-minded person. He started working for him, for Dr. Subarao. Both of them worked very hard. They got some samples from Missouri, and they're testing different kind of material, different kind of plants. What they found is that tetracycline is a first chemotherapy drug. Ureomycin is they invented ureomycin, first broad spectrum antibiotic. They discovered first ureomycin antibiotic, first broad spectrum antibiotic by Dr. Subbarao. But actually, most of the work is done by Dr. Subbarao because Benjamin Dugar was an older guy and is already playing a lot of golf. They said, and but they are working together. I don't want to take credit away from Benjamin Dugar. He's not a doctor. He didn't have any background in biochemistry. He's a plant biologist. Both of them worked together, found this eromycin, first broad spectrum antibiotic. Then what happened was, then they didn't have any hospital giving them any contracts to clinical trials. There is no clinical trials there. So they went to Harlem Hospital. Dr. Louis Wright. He's from Georgia. He's from LaGrange, Georgia. Is a slave, son of a slaves. So these two guys, think about that. He had a slave master's son and went to slave son of slaves, and they formed a group together and started doing the clinical trials in the Harlem Hospital. So they know that this is working. They tested it, and then Dr. Louis Wright is already well-known doctor at the time. He's a surgeon. He worked in the Air Force in the United States, so he was very well known. So he gave one of the best. Yeah, the outcomes are stunning. 80 to 90% wiped out all the diseases of the any STDs, sexually transmitted diseases, and other infectious diseases are wiped out. They were stunned. The results are much more overwhelming than expected. It was phenomenally successful, and then they went in 1948. The FDA at the time, I don't know, FDA is there. They they declared is one of the winners, is a big splashing news. But unfortunately, by the time they announced the news, Dr. Subbarao died in the in his sleep in the Pearl River, New York, while he's working for Lederle Labs. So Lederle Labs is acquired by Pfizer. Pfizer should really honor him right now. So at that time, New York Herald gave him a Tribune, one of the most eminent medical minds of the century, because at that time a foreigner doesn't have that much of a traction in this country. New York Herald Tribune said that one of the most eminent medical minds of the century. It said that he is a he is a he is the tallest man on the pygmy among the pygmies in the medical. Some of the magazines said that one of the magazines said that because he lived longer. That's what the one of the magazine. I forgot to put that one. Because he lived longer because that's chemotherapy drug he invented. 1948 he died in December. The same year, Gandhi, Dr. Yellappada Supparao was ardent follower of Gandhi. So Gandhi died in 1948. He was shot. He was assassinated. So Gandhi died for the freedom for Indians, for all Indians. He won the freedom for all Indians. But Dr. Yellappada Supparao won freedom for fatal diseases for all over the world, for all over the population of all over the world. So these are my heroes. There is a fungus genus. There's a name is Subrahmesis. They named after him. One of the things I say about this doctor is this. Um, uh, is a people like him silently work, like him and my late father and people like Yellappada Subbarao. They work silently to make it provide a care. They provide care for people. They didn't expect any accolades. They didn't have any uh, financial rewards, but they worked very hard and provided true care. They stood for the what true physicians supposed to be. So these are the unsung heroes of the medicine in my view, and also particularly I'm proud of bringing my hometown hero, Dr. Yellappada Subbarao, to the front lines. Thank you so much. We're all thank you for joining. I hope I will if I want Jennifer, please take over. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ramana. That was fabulous. I love listening to your story about your hometown and from science and medicine that's in your literally. So very exciting to that with us. Again, our website is www.dailywearformedicine, and my name is Jenna Meyer. This is our ebook, Science is Not a Science, Be a Lifestyle. We have lots of swag and we have lifestyle designs that match an actual story that's in the ebook. And we have these med cups, one of which this is one of the designs on them. And this is our logo on the back, Daily Wear for Medicine. But you can on anything that you might want to have for your company. You can put your information and put match our design with the 3-minute story. It's really exciting. And one of the goals that Ramana does so well is that he takes these hard to understand concepts and he brings them back to a level that everyone can really relate to, creating curiosity. And so again, a thank you, Ramana, for being the speaker, the teacher, and author of the subject Science Must Be a Lifestyle. And so in honor of Nursing Month, we have a very special live tomorrow night regarding Florence Nightingale, and Romana's going to talk to us about her tomorrow night. So I'm very excited about that. Thank you for joining, and we'll see you again another time.